Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, Miracles Within Us. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome, everyone. Today is such a beautiful day out. It is nice and sunny, and I am just so grateful to be here and continue welcoming in the new year with you all. So one of the things that has come up recently, I got a question about romance and what's romance? What does it mean? How do you ignite that in a relationship? And I actually want this scope to be much more interactive than normal. I actually want to pose the question out to you all because, just in doing some research and in my own experience with romance. Welcome, Zoraida. Hello, love. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for all the love that you all send my way. I send the hearts right back at you. Hola. So today's topic is romance, and I really want to pose the question to you all. What is romance to you? Now, I have a definition that I can share, and I want to definitely get into what society thinks romance is, but I really want to hear from you all before we start. What is romance to you? How do you experience romance? What does it mean? How do you relate to romance in your lives? So feel free to put up any comments up on the chat. And also click on the little Perry person down there and share this with your followers. For me, it's spending time with me. Okay, great. So romance means they're spending time with you. Okay, any other answers in terms of what does romance mean? One of the things earlier today, I was watching one of the girliest movies ever created, Ella Enchanted, and flowers, gifts, the art of romancing yourself. Yes, the art of romancing yourself. Say more, Zoraida. Say more, because I think that's a very, very important point. Like, how do you experience romance with yourself? For me, romance has been portrayed, right, as the flowers, the chocolates, the elegant dinners and fancy feasts, and that's not necessarily what romance is. And that's, the misconception and your partner if you're in a relationship. Yes, Zoraida. So for me, it's portrayed by the media as one thing. But it really, in relationship, looks very differently. And seldom, I've never heard in media, in movies, about romancing yourself, right? If you're single, like how do you romance yourself? And I'm so grateful that Zoraida brought that up, because that's a huge point that we never really learn about. We don't learn how to be romantic. We don't learn how to romance someone or how to romance ourselves. It's something that is not taught to us, yet we're raised looking and taking in all of this messaging that says, you should want this, you should do this, right? And in nowadays, right, there's so many romantic comedies, and it's always about getting swept off your feet, like Julia Roberts style, your knight in shining armor. And it's just, that isn't necessarily what happens. And that it leads to a lot of disappointment in relationships. There's a lot of letdown that happens, and spending time together, asking yourself and your partner what they want from you. Yes. And that's a key point that Zoraida is bringing up, because if you're not actually asking or telling, then it's really hard to get romance the way you want it. And the really big question here is, do you even know what you want? do we even know what we want in terms of romance? Because I know for myself, I struggled with this a long time, and I still, things come up and I'm like, oh, I'm having feelings about this. You know, my lover isn't doing X, or I'm not feeling Y. And you're looking outside of yourself when really those are things we need to meet for ourselves first. Right? So if we're not romancing ourselves, if we're not clear about what that looks like, feels like, then it's really hard to express that to someone else. It's hard to, just hold that expectation of someone. It's like, hey, romance to me means we're going to talk every day, right? But if you're not letting your partner know that you need to talk every day and what that talk looks like, right? Is it like, I just need to express how much I care about you? That's one way. So really getting clear on what does romance look and feel like to you. So the definition, I found a lot of definitions, and most of the definitions that I found, and I thought this to be very interesting, have to do with novels. So a lot of what people are interpreting as romance is coming from books and movies. So, you pick up a Nora Roberts book, she's one of the most popular writers, and it's a lot of lust. It's full of lust. Yet in real life, in the real world, right, lust might not last so long. You might really just have a shortened period of lust. You're not gonna necessarily find yourself in the middle of the woods in a cabin, candlelit everywhere, right? Like that isn't necessarily our experience. Or you can write your own version. Yes, Zoraida. And that's what I'm talking about, writing our own version of what romance means. Right? One of the definitions that I found is love emphasizes emotion over libido, right? Love emphasizing emotion. And that's really when I looked at all of it together, like all of the different definitions, all of the different ways in which people are describing what romance is. It's about your emotional desires. Right? We have physical desires, right? And that's where the sex comes in and the passion. But what are your emotional desires? What do you want to connect with through intimately, right? It's not just about the physical. The emotional, that's where the romantic comes in. That's where the romance is incorporated. And seldom do we associate, right, that it's emotions. It's about meeting emotional desires and emotional needs where the romance really comes in. So I want us to get clear on what do we desire emotionally? How do we want to feel emotionally when we are with our intimate partner or when we are intimately being on our own, right? So if that means that you want to have the experience of relaxation and soothing, right? And that's romantic to you. You want to be soothed. Maybe that means taking a bubble bath together or on your own, right? A bubble bath might not need all the candles and the essential oils in the bathtub to be romantic for you. Something as simple as writing a love letter, a little, writing a little surprise on the mirror, when they wake up, they might see something written on the mirror like, I love you, or something that you admire about them or yourself. These are small little things that you can do. And the biggest thing that I've come to learn and know about romance is being creative. And that's one of the areas that we really have, you think that creativity really goes away when you get older, and it doesn't. It transforms. And romance, relationships, sex, these are areas where we can really express all of our romance and all of our creativity, right? There's so much creativity flowing in us. That sacral energy, right? That sexual energy is creative energy. So there's so much to be created around the heart and love and romance. So really let yourself explore that. Yes, yes, yes. So, my tip for the evening, the tip for today is really sit with yourself and ask yourself, even go into meditation on this. I know it's something I want to meditate on tonight is, what are my emotional desires? That is a really big question to ask yourself and to really just sit with and see what comes up. And you might be surprised at what rises from your inner soul. But let that express through you, right? And share that with your partner and have them do this activity as well. Because, one of the things that happens in relationships, it gets kind of stagnant, it gets dull, it gets sometimes boring. And romance, creativity, these are ways to really spark things back up and keep it like fresh and renewed and exciting all the time. So let your inner romantic unleash and ask yourself, what are my emotional desires? Until tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Still getting used to the time changes. At 11 a.m. for the morning inspiration. I wish you all a passionate evening. Don't forget to check out my website, sexualitypower.com, to see all of the new offers that I am offering. There are powerful heart tarot readings that I am offering now, and I cannot wait to connect with you through those. Until tomorrow, love you all. Bye.